Hello YouTube, here we are at Birmingham Airport in the United Kingdom, EGBB on the ground, and we're looking at the Saab 340A from X-aviation. In the last video I showed you how to start this aircraft up with the auto start in the gizmo menu, and today we're going to have a look at how to start it up from the checklists. It's quite a complex aircraft to start, so you do need to go through the checklist when you start it up. So we're on the ground. We've got the chocks and the cones still on the ground there, because I want to show you in the checklist there is a walk around procedure you can do as well with this aircraft, which is quite nice. So we'll hop into the cockpit. And I did forget to mention in the last video that although this is available from X-aviation, it's developed by Leading Edge Simulations, and they made a really good job of this aircraft. So we're on the ground. We've got the parking brake set. We'll nip over to the gizmo menu on the side, and we're looking for the ground support. There we go. Now you see I'm leaving these all ticked for the moment because I just want to show you in the checklists the walk around views. We'll put the GPU on so that we can start the aircraft up, and we'll go over to the checklists. There we go, and we'll go through the checklists to see what's involved. We'll go to the preliminary checklist first of all, and it's the good thing about this checklist is if you're not sure where the buttons are you need to change or press or what have you, you can click on view there and it will take you straight to that part of the panel that you need, which is a great little touch. So the lights are off, the gear handle, click on that and the gear handle is down, so we can tick that. The same for all the rest of them. Flaps, radar, transponder, got no power to that anyway at the minute. Batteries, now we do need to switch the batteries on. If you leave it, it'll go back to the default view. So we'll pop the batteries on, and there's one there and the other one there. Gone too far with that one. It's actually not that big. You can actually start this aircraft up without the ground power unit. You need to switch both those switches to override. So there's the batteries. We can switch the external power on now because we've got the GPU connected, which is that one there. External power. Avionics, just above the batteries there. 1, 2, 3. Set the avionics. Emergency safety equipment, which is down there. Fire extinguisher and life jackets. Documents on board, there they are. Side panel oxygen, I think you have to pull this button up there for the oxygen to come through to the cabin. Overhead panel is checked. Pedestal, yeah, condition levers, ground and throttles. This one here, they're not models, so we'll just tick that and we'll go to the next checklist. Now the next checklist is the walk around, and you can go through this if you want to. I personally don't. I'll just skip this, but you can, for example, go to position 9 and check all of the items on the aircraft as you see. You can tick them off as you check them. We're not going to do that in this video for the purpose of saving a little bit of time. So if we go to the checklist selector, we can skip the walk around and go to before engine start check. So we need to go through this list now. Batteries are on, external power is on, bleed valves, they're the bleed valves, we need to reset those and back to auto. There we go. Avionics are set. Oxygen is on and checked. Circuit breakers, you can't do anything with those. We just tick those. Flight recorder, I'm not sure what you have to do with that, to be honest, which is down there. Tick that. Parking brake is set. Cabin signs, pop those on. Engine instruments, ignition check, which is that one there. I need to make sure that they're at normal and the start button is in the centre there. Fuel quantity, have we got enough fuel? I think we have. Tick that. Hydraulics in the green there, it's okay. Cabin pressure's okay. Power condition levers need to be ground idle, full cut off, and they are. Trims, set the trims, there's the trim settings there. Take off data bugs, we don't need to set those, we're not doing a flight today. Beacon on, beacon, and the door status is, the doors are all closed. Okay. Next checklist is the engine after start checklist. So what we can do now is start the engines. Now to do that we go to the condition levers and put them to the, I'll show you a bit better the position there, to the start position, and put the left engine to the start position. There we go. And we can nip up to the top, we can switch the starter to the left engine to start the engine. All the power goes to starting the engines. And we'll look down the bottom there and we'll look at this gauge here. We're ready to wait for the left engine to stabilise, then we can start the right engine. Master caution off. And we might see that. There we go. Blades are starting to turn. Incidentally, you can hide the yoke. There's a. If you click on that screw there, it'll take the yoke away. Or put it back on. I don't really find much of a problem with it, so I'll leave it on. There we go. Left engine's starting to stabilise now, so we can move the right condition lever to the start position. And just before we do that, we'll put the generator on for the left engine. We can turn the external power off now as well, running from the left engine. That's great. Okay, starting the right engine. Let's have a look. There we go. That's going okay. Right ignition. I like the way these textures have got marks and looks like coffee stains and all sorts on the panel. Very realistic, exceptionally good. When I install this, there's an option to install, depending on what graphics card memory you've got, to 2 gig or less, or 3 gig. I've only got 2 gig of memory on the graphics card, so I installed the 2 gig or less version. I'm not sure what the difference is between the two, but I think it looks pretty good anyway. Okay, the right engine is stabilised now, so we can put to the overhead and switch the right generator on. There we go. So that's the engines started. That bus tail light will go out shortly. Still got the external power light on, so if we nip to the gizmo ground support, and we can get rid of all those, and we can get rid of the GPU, and that light will go off shortly. So okay, so we now go to the after start checklist, There's a switch there which is the main inverter. It's not mentioned in the checklist. If you switch that on, it will give you the availability of the overhead panel lights, etc. So let's go through the next checklist. First one is auto caution, which is that switch there. We switch that on. Bus ties checked, and bus ties is that one there. The light's gone off, so we can switch that. External power is off, down there. Generators are on, checked. Air conditioning up the top there, we need to switch those up. Not move back up there. Reset back to auto, and the lights will go out. That's the air conditioning. Emergency lights on, that's that one there. It's a bit tricky, this one. You need to pull the guard back, switch the switch up, and put the guard back in position. Emergency lights on. Fuel reset down there. That's being reset after these engines start. Condition levers now go to the maximum position. If we get down to the condition levers, we can put those up to max. Okay. Ice protection. Very top there. Switch that switch on. Overhead panel checked. We want to have a look, see if there's no lights on the panel. Looks all okay. We can put the. I should have put that on earlier, the nav light, and put the wing lights on. Okay. IFIS checked. That's okay. Cleared to push, and on to the next checklist, which is the taxi. So we're not going to do the taxi at the moment. We're going to leave it at that. It's just to show you how to start it up. It's quite easy, really, if you follow the checklist. I wanted to have a quick look at the GPS. This is a new thing that's been added to the aircraft, which makes a heck of a difference if you want to make life a little bit easier and fly with a flight plan. It's a Garmin 530. You click on that, it pops up, and I'm sure you can. You're probably familiar with this in other aircraft. You can actually program this as it is, or you can use XFMC and put SIDS and stars and put complete flight planning. So there we go. Just get rid of that. Hope you've enjoyed this video on the Saab 340A. I've got a lot to learn on this aircraft still. I've not done a complete flight in it yet. It's so complicated, and I've been studying the start, etc. How to start it up and getting myself familiar with the controls and switches and gauges. Very nice aircraft. I recommend this to anybody. If you like turbo props, this is a brilliant addition. Thanks for watching, and see you again soon.